Hello and welcome back to Mystic Artistry. My name is Susan, and this is a space for storytelling, reflection, creativity, nature, and intuition. A place where we slow down, notice what's around us, and listen a little more closely to what's within. I remember the day I decided to stop eating. I was 12 years old, attending an all-girls school. There was a group of popular girls who were keeping a black book of the prettiest girls in the class and ranking them in order. I heard them say that I would be pretty if I wasn't so chubby. Now, you would think that is the impetus that triggered me, but it was more than that. I was carrying this shame from being molested from a young age, and I no longer had a relationship with my body. I could eat to fuel my shame, and the unwanted attention finally stopped. In fact, he pronounced that I was ugly and too skinny. I liked being in an all-girls school at first because I felt safe. But girls can be very unkind and petty over the smallest things, and vanity was a big subject getting plenty of attention. I didn't understand then that I wasn't really chasing thinness. I was chasing ownership. Every meal I refused felt like one decision that belonged only to me. My body had become the one place where I could still say yes or no. It was the first time since childhood that I believed that it belonged to me. I believed that I was reclaiming control, but what I was really doing was handing control to the illness. Every bite became a decision. No one could force me to eat. No one could tell me yes or no. For the first time in years, I experienced the intoxicating feeling of having authority over something that belonged to me. What I didn't understand was that I wasn't becoming free. I was slowly surrendering that authority to the eating disorder itself. The entertainment world didn't create my eating disorder. It simply spoke the same language the illness was already whispering. Every comment about my waist, every costume fitting, every audition where appearance was discussed seemed to confirm what the disorder had been telling me all along, that my worth lived in my body. I don't look at that 12-year-old girl with frustration anymore. I look at her with immense compassion. She wasn't vain. She wasn't seeking attention. She was trying to survive with the only tools she knew. The tragedy wasn't that she wanted control. The tragedy was that she believed she had to earn the right to belong in her own body. There was a strange contradiction that followed me throughout much of my life. I pursued careers that required me to stand in front of people. I sang. I acted. I accompanied. I worked in the beauty industry. Every one of those professions depended on me being seen. Yet every audition, every critique, every rejection seemed to reinforce the belief I had carried since childhood that somehow I wasn't enough, that I wasn't worthy of being chosen, worthy of being noticed. Looking back, I realized I was chasing something much deeper than applause or acceptance. I wanted someone to see me, not my body, not my face, not whether I fit the role or looked the part, just me. And yet, if someone had truly looked beneath the surface, I don't know if I could have tolerated it. The very thing I longed for was the thing I feared most. I spent years trying to become visible while carefully hiding the parts of myself that needed to be seen the most. It has taken me decades to understand that there is a profound difference between performing and being known. For years, I believed visibility would heal me. If I could just sing well enough, be attractive enough, lose enough weight, succeed enough, then perhaps I would finally feel worthy. But being visible is not the same as being seen. Even now, compliments about my appearance aren't part of my daily life. Sometimes I wonder why that still matters to me, why after all these years a simple, "You look beautiful today," can still feel so significant. Because somewhere along the way, I confused being seen with being loved. Or perhaps because I'm still untangling those two things, I don't know. My relationship with food and my mind has changed. Recently, I made the decision to begin a GLP-1 medication, and I've lost about 50 pounds. And naturally, the people who love me have worried. They remember my history, and so do I. We all wondered whether this might awaken something I fought so hard to overcome. But something unexpected happened. It didn't awaken the eating disorder. It quieted the noise. For as long as I can remember, there was an endless conversation in my mind. What should I eat? Should I eat? Have I eaten too much, too little? Have I been good? Have I been bad? Will this make me gain weight? Will people notice? I thought everyone lived with that constant negotiation. I didn't realize how much of my life had been occupied by those thoughts until they became quiet. The greatest gift hasn't been losing weight. It's been discovering how much room there is in my mind when shame isn't taking up every corner. That quiet space has made space for other things, for painting, for teaching, for writing, and for healing. I know what it feels like not to be, not just unseen by other people, unseen by myself. It took me many years to realize that I wasn't searching for perfection. I was searching for permission. Permission to take up space. Permission to tell the truth. Permission to be imperfect. Permission to be seen. Perhaps that's why I do what I do today. Every lesson I teach, every painting I create, every podcast I record, every story I finally have the courage to share is my way of extending that same permission to someone else. To say, you don't have to earn your worth. You don't have to perform your way into belonging. You don't have to hide parts of yourself you think make you less lovable. You deserve to be seen exactly as you are. I don't have all the answers, but because I know what it feels like to wonder if you're invisible. If through my work I can help even one person feel seen, then every painful chapter of my life has been transformed into something meaningful. So today, I'd like to leave you with a thought. We live in a world that spends so much time looking at one another, evaluating one another, comparing one another. But what if we made it our practice to truly see one another instead? This week, I invite you to do two things. See one person more deeply than you normally would. Listen a little longer. Ask one more question. Be curious instead of assuming. And then, maybe the harder invitation. Let yourself be seen. Be someone you trust. not for what you've accomplished, not for how you look, but for who you really are. Because I've come to believe that healing doesn't begin when we become perfect. It begins when we discover that we never had to earn the right to belong. You are worthy of being seen. You always were. I'm still learning how to let myself be seen. And there are days when I retreat. There are days when old voices still whisper. But I've learned something I didn't know when I was 12. If I stumble, I don't stay there. I get back up. And every time I do, I choose compassion over shame, truth over hiding, connection over isolation. That's what healing looks like for me. It's about no longer believing that a fall defines you. As always, I am listening.